Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Fitness Mindset Diary. It's crazy, but we are at the end of the year and I feel like it just went so fast. I think I've been saying it actually every year. So yeah, it's just crazy, and I'm pretty stoked that this is already third episode. I've been really keeping it consistent once a month. It's perfect for me to just release it like that. And in today's episode, I was thinking that we can talk about new year, but same you topic, because I know you probably expect I'm going to say new year, new me, but that's something I actually want to talk about because so many people just thinking about the future themselves, thinking about how different they will be in the new year and how much they're gonna change and how many new things they're gonna try. And I want to talk about that a little bit, like why is it happening? Why we feel like we can be different in the new year? Why we are not doing anything right now? And why is it so unrealistic that we're gonna change? And I really want to dive into that mindset of it because yeah, I've done that myself, not specifically for training, maybe just a little bit, but for my business goals. Like I would be always saying to myself how productive I'll be in the new year, how different it's going to be. But yeah, it never really changes too much. So I'm definitely going to share about my own personal story too. And yeah, we're gonna dive in why there's so much motivation in January and what to do instead so you don't repeat the cycle every year. So we're going to talk about all of that and definitely gonna provide you with some tips. Let's just get into it. So firstly, I would like to start with why we are feeling off track in December and why we tend to just say to ourselves, oh, I'm just going to restart everything in the new year. December just naturally just disrupts our routine. So we got so many like social events, Christmas parties, lots of stress, and we tend to fall off our regular routine. So let's say if you train 4 times per week all year round, maybe in December you fall back to only like twice a week training, or you miss the whole week because of family events. And same with eating habits, right? Because there's so much more food and we tend to kind of forget about our routines, and then we just say to ourselves, oh, I'm just gonna correct everything in the new year. And that's what's pretty common. It's the all or nothing thinking. Let's say you miss 1 week of training halfway through December. And because it's coming to the Christmas time, you just think that there's no point of trying. There's no point of doing anything. You might as well start everything the new year. And we just rely on future discipline instead of present action. Instead of saying to yourself, okay, this week I'm very busy, I will just do once a week training. I will still do something rather than relying on the future action. Same with like eating habits, right? We might have really nice Christmas dinner and the day after you might see your relatives, and again, you don't eat the usual food you are eating and you just say to yourself, oh, I might as well just go crazy the whole week and restart everything in the new year. So this is happening. December just causes all of these thoughts, and yeah, it's pretty much just like this mental excuse because it's already ruined. So I might as well start in the new year. And now, why does it feel like January will be easier? It's because January is symbolic, right? It's just like new calendar, clean slate, fresh start, right? It's the same thing pretty much that like when we say, oh, I'm just going to start from Monday, because you believe there's just this starting point. You believe you'll be more motivated and more organized and more disciplined. Like there's this magic button and you're just going to be different. Yeah, we just pretty much misjudge our capacity and we think everything is just going to change. Thinking about starting from January the 1st feels comforting rather than doing something right now. And it's not only that, it's the social pressure and marketing. Gyms, diet culture, fitness industry pushes on you, new year, new you. you're going to change in the new year. There's so many sales around, 8-week transformations, challenges, supplements. It just makes you feel like if you don't do something in January, you'll be a failure, because everyone around is starting fresh, which kind of makes you feel behind. You see like your friends and your family saying, yeah, I'm just gonna start, in the new year, I'm going to lose 5 kilograms. You see everywhere, start the year right. Don't waste another year. You can be different this year. Your friend already signed up for this New Year's challenge, and there's this pressure, very, very external pressure, that you need to do something, that there's something wrong with you, and you should change in the new year. It just enforces you that you'll be different, and you need to do this, otherwise you'll be behind. Let's talk about comparison a little bit as well, because if you're on social media, nearly every single person shares end of year reflections, yearly summaries, transformations. Let's say there was someone who started in January and shares how much they achieved by the end of the year. People show you what are the goals, vision boards. It's just, that's another thing which forces us to believe that we need to change in January. And even though if you don't do reflections, you still mentally going to check how much you have done for yourself in the past year. You're just going to compare yourself to other people if you've actually done something or not. And comparison just increases the guilt, the insecurity, and again forces us to change ourselves coming to the new year. You pretty much might feel the pressure that everyone is improving except of me. It just fuels the new year unrealistic expectations, and then we kind of start the year strong, but then we fall off the track. So let me just share you my own personal story, because I'm someone who does the end of year reflections, but I don't do it much in fitness and nutrition as such. I do it more for my business goals and my personal goals. And I would just write, what did I mostly struggle with in 2022, 5 biggest wins. Then I would set up 2023 goals, and there will be 3 different columns. There will be health, happiness, and wealth, and I would write anything from 3 to 5 goals for 2023. And I'm looking at it right now, and there are so many goals. And then when I'm looking at the year after, when I did 2023 reflections, most of those goals haven't been completed. It's just this belief that I can be different coming to the new year, but unless I really start changing my identity and start making small changes, it will never happen. And all of these goals were very numbered goals, I want to squat 120 kilograms. There are so many factors which are going to impact that, right? It's going to impact how well I'm going to train, how well I'm going to eat. There's just so many factors which are going to influence if I can get to that number or not. So it's very complex, right? And the thing is that every single year I would always set those goals, and then kind of halfway through the year or even earlier, something would change. I would just, take a different path because life just happens, right? I would just do something different. And that's why last year, 2024, I still reflected, but I didn't share it anywhere. I just kind of did it for myself. And I've decided to not set up any particular goals. I just set more of intentions based on my personal values, and just said what I want to feel like in the new year, what I want to work on, but not specific bullet points and numbered goals. I was just no, I'm just want to do that, and I'll just see how things gonna go, because I'm telling you, 2025, I have made so many changes which I've never even thought about at the end of 2024. I changed gyms, I pretty much quit my gym, which I was there for 5 years, and decided to just leave and start a new job somewhere else. Then my training style has changed. So if I would set myself with powerlifting goals, be able to deadlift this amount of weight, halfway through the year, I've literally changed a different training style. So, and then, you know, if you write those goals like the year before, then you feel like you have to do it, and then there's no space for change. And I didn't want to be limited by that. I just said by the end of the year, I'm just gonna see how I'm gonna go, set my values goals, and yeah, I'm just going to go with the flow and adjust when I need to. And honestly, it has been a really good year because I allowed myself to just change the goals if needed. Yeah, I live more in present rather than just like, yeah, being really strict with my set goals. And the same you should do for yourself, you know, like don't give yourself like strict goals like, oh yeah, in the new year I'm going to lose 15 kilograms. I'm like, yeah, you're going to lose it, but then you have to maintain it, and there's so much to it. Just, you know, you can think about it more like, yeah, I'm just going to try to be a little bit more consistent, you know, try create some small wins, you know, just take it easy. Don't have to like create completely different, you don't have to be this different person, because it's impossible. Because if you want to change your identity, it takes time. It can take the whole year, and it takes, you know, it takes you to just accomplish small wins and trying and failing, because this is what is it about creating a sustainable fitness routine. Because we just believe that, you know, and I'm the same, like that I'm just going to be this new person, but I'm still the same. Like I have the same brain, the same habits, the same emotions. There's just no reset button after 365 days, and you need to understand that, because if you don't, then you're going to be creating this false idea of future you. Yeah, the day doesn't change the pattern. You expect the transformation without changing your daily life, without changing those small habits. That's why it usually just doesn't work, you know. Yeah, let's just talk about why the why January motivation spike actually happens. Because I was like searching it up, looking more into like psychology, and yeah, just giving you some idea on why is it happening. So the first thing is fresh start effect. I've mentioned already earlier that brain just loves the symbolic beginnings. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to know that you can start fresh and start creating those new habits, but it just makes you believe that change is easier. But it's the same if you start on the 25th of December or you start on the 2nd of January, it's going to be exactly the same, you know? And the dopamine of possibility is it just feels so good in the moment when you are thinking about it. Imagining a new you feels so rewarding, because the idea of being a different person just gives you this dopamine hit. That's why it feels so good to just go to the January. Visualizing yourself feels like an actual progress, but it's not an action, right? Yeah. And then, you know, December guilt just fuels the January dreams, because I don't want to say messed up, but like your routine has changed so much. You know, you trained less frequently, you ate differently. That's why the guilt just reinforces the dreams for January, like you will be different. And social pressure, social momentum, because everyone is starting the new year again. You feel pressure that you need to do something as well. Everyone's posting gym content in January, challenges, seeing others like starting strong in the new year. Again, just makes you think like you need to do something in January as well. Yeah. And that's why the January spike it's so strong, but it's not sustainable long term. Now, the motivation usually fades by, I would say, like after a month, right? And that's because the novelty just wears off. Habits didn't have time to form. Everything feels like it's too much effort because you just set yourself with those crazy goals. Life just takes over. You fall back into the old patterns because they are comfortable. And again, we are exactly the same person, and we've only done 1 month, and now we are falling back to the old patterns because we just had this crazy all or nothing mindset again, and we are pretty much on the same page as we were the year before. So unless you really start small, you will never change. Without creating systems without self-awareness, without, different support, you will not be able to change. And motivation, just the simple genuine motivation, will not carry you forward. Let me just give you some examples of how this all shows up in real life. We might be planning overly intense training routines. So if you are saying to yourself, I'm going to train 5 or 6 times per week, again, you're just creating this unrealistic routine. You might be saying to yourself, I'm going to start early in the morning, even though if you are not a morning person. And unrealistic meal plans is a big one as well. Cutting carbs, cutting sugar, cutting alcohol, everything. Extreme plans, which then causes you to binge eat after some time. I'll cut everything in the new year mindset. So it might be like literally just cutting all of those bad habits and creating new ones. And it's just not sustainable at all. You might be buying planners, supplements, gym clothes, feeling productive without any action, right? So just having this illusion of progress because you have all of those gym clothes and supplements, but again, you are not doing anything. And then emotional crash when motivation drops. So you might be like, oh, like I was so excited in the beginning of the year and now I just feel like shit. Your energy is completely decreased because, you just done this crazy 1 month routine and you're like, oh, like I can't sustain it. Fuck it. I'm done with this. And yeah, you pretty much 1 week, you just fall off track and then you're like, oh fuck, I can't sustain it, and then you never come back. And this is why so many people fail. And it's so common. So then you fall into shame spiral, like, oh, why I just can't stick to anything. Then we have the identity misalignment. Oh, I just can't do this anymore because I can't be consistent. You cancel your membership and you are out. And then you wait until the end of the year again and you repeat the same cycle. So you see what I'm like, where is it going to? And it's just not sustainable long term. So if you've been doing this every single year, or not even a year, if you keep saying that to yourself every week, then something needs to change. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what to do instead so you finally start making those changes and actually have a great start to the new year. I always say to everyone, start smaller than you think. Make those habits tiny. Inside my school group, Hidden Fitness Fortress, we have an experience called Consistency Reboot. And I just say to all of my members, pick 2 baseline actions, pick 2 non-negotiables which you're going to commit to. And they can be very simple actions. They can be actions like, I'm going to go for a walk for 15 minutes once a week. And the second action can be, I'm going to do home workouts for 15 minutes. And they are your 2 non-negotiables. Because what it does, you are creating those small little wins and you believe in yourself that you are actually follow through on these actions, right? So try to practice those realistic routines, not in January, but already in December. Don't wait for the new year. Test some simple habits now which feel doable. So if you are very, very busy in December, can you try, or before your Christmas dinner or after your Christmas dinner, whenever you want to, can you just tell your family, let's just go for a walk around and have a look at some Christmas lights outside, you already giving yourself some tiny action. Or you can try to add some small little nutrition habit in, like start already thinking about what you are eating for breakfast. Again, you are bringing that self-awareness, just, testing those realistic routines, just so you can start much easier in January. Try to shift from new me to more consistent me. There will be no new you. There will be the same you. But what you can change is there will be more consistent you. Consistency creates the identity. So that's why I was saying, like, create those small actions and try to stick to them. That way you can start adding more and more habits over time. And try to remove the guilt. I know that we feel so guilty in December, but remember that guilt doesn't create better decisions. Remember that December is just a season. We need to enjoy ourselves, but it doesn't mean that you have to be different in the new year. It's just a season. Enjoy it and then get back to normal. That's what that is, you know. That's pretty much what I want to talk to you about for the new year. Same you. Yeah, and just to close it off, guys. Yeah, change doesn't happen because the year changes. It happens because you change what you do intentionally. You don't need you just need alignment. You need to bring a little bit more self-awareness into your routine and just try to take a little bit more gentler approach to the new year. Just start a bit slower with small habits, and I can guarantee you're going to have a much better start to the new year. So that's pretty much it for today's episode. And if you've listened all the way till the end, thank you very much. And I want to wish you Merry Christmas and also Happy New Year. And enjoy the time as much as you can because you deserve it. Have a little bit of a good food. Move a little bit though, but yeah, don't feel that guilt, and yeah, you will just get back into your routine again. And I guess I will see you all in 2026. I'm very excited to continue with this podcast, so I hope you are enjoying it as well so far. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.